So you want to get better at evading. Well, for starters, first thing I can say is that if you're dying a lot to the bots, you're probably not doing your movement right. Um, because as I see with most people in this game, what they do is to get away from the bots, they just hold down W, which is, makes sense, right? It's your speed key. It's what you use to move forward. You will move slower if you are holding down S or A or D or any of that, or you're turning your mouse around and looking at where the bots are. Uh, Holding down W is technically the fastest way to move. However, to increase your speed even more than it already is, just by holding down W, you're gonna want to hit that spacebar. Spacebar is the most important key in this movement because when you are hitting spacebar, there not only are the bots their hitboxes a little bit weird, so that sometimes you can jump. Sometimes you can jump right through them and they won't hit you, but only when you're jumping. If you sprint at them at full speed, they are going to hit you because no matter what, the hitbox is always going to be on that floor somewhere. But sometimes you can jump right through them and they won't hit you at all. So hitting the spacebar is, again, really good. Like if you aren't using the spacebar, you need to start using spacebar while you're running. You need to be holding down W and hitting spacebar. It's not that much. It's two keys. You just use your pointer finger or your pointer finger and your thumb. It's like the easiest thing to do. Uh, or ring finger, I guess, middle finger, I guess. Anyways, um, once you get the jumping while holding W down, the next thing is going to be how you move your camera, because you can't just you can't just turn. You know what I mean? You can't just press A while doing this and turn. It's not going to work like that. You're going to slow yourself down and you're going to die. You can't just press A and expect to go left while you're looking straight forward. The way you have to move is like a pseudo b-hop kind of move. Uh, you don't want to just turn your camera face. You can, but the better way to do it is that when you make your jump, when you hit the ground and you jump again, the best way to do it is to smoothly rotate your camera while jumping and hit A at the same time. So imagine like as you are turning your face towards something, you're also moving towards that direction. So when I turn to the left, when I turn my camera to the left smoothly, don't just be a rapid turn because it's not going to work like that. Make a smooth turn, turning your camera face, and then hold down A while you're turning. Not after, not before, while you're turning. It'll increase your speed, I guarantee you. Because this game is all, it says right in the description that it's based off of Gmod. In Gmod, with its jumping mechanics, you can b-hop pretty easily in Gmod, depending on what game mode you're playing on. But the best way to do it is that you just turn your camera face smoothly, not fast, not rapid. You make a smooth turn, and then you hold down A. Same thing applies when you're going to the right. Turn your camera face smoothly and hold down B. Next thing is to remember that while you're doing this, the bots aren't going to be going towards you, which sounds weird, but they're not. The bots, I've watched them do it. The bots don't go towards you. They try to plan it so they know where you're going, right? So say you're running in a straight line. If the bot is in front of you, it'll make the correction so that it'll intersect with you at a point that's pivotal for it. Like it'll do it at the fastest pace possible. Is an AI. You know what I mean? It's programmed to do this. They will try to predict where you are going and not come directly at you. Yes, they do come directly at you sometimes. It's an AI, you know what I mean? But most of the time they have slippery movements, like they slip, they slide, they move way farther out and then slide back in. So imagine you're coming to a stop instead of the AIs coming to a complete stop and then making their next turn. They slide out, so they'll keep going forward, but then they'll make a turn, so it's like a loop almost. So it's like they're slipping on ice or something while they're turning. That's how most of them move. So instead of going directly towards you, they will try to predict where you are going. So that if they know that you are most likely going to turn right up at this next part, you're probably going to have to use the method I explained before, where you turn your camera smoothly and hit the D key, or they will catch you at that turn. Or you can try to fake them out and turn right and then turn back left really quickly. It works most of the time. Sometimes, though, they will catch you. It depends on how close they are to you. Because if you try to make that sudden turn while they're still far behind you, they're just going to make that turn themselves and run directly into you. But if they're like right on you, and you make a still that smooth turn I was talking about, but you do it fast, like you start going to the right, and then as soon as you hit the ground, you quickly jump and turn around to the left. It can make all the difference. You will dodge them. You can dodge them. The point of the game is to dodge them. So that's why it's called evade, because you're evading them. So yeah, movement is key when trying to get better at this game. My next point is, like, juking is the most important thing in this game. Because that's the whole point of it. It's called evade. You're supposed to dodge the bots. You're not supposed to... If you are setting up in a corner, if you use those, what do you call them? There's like a barrier you can use, right? If you set up in a corner, you are going to die. Unless you run out of the corner when the bot comes. Do not, while playing this game, try to use the barriers to hold yourself up in a singular room with only one exit. You will die. The bot will come in, it'll break through the barriers, and it'll just kill you. The whole point of the game is to juke the bots. Do not hold up in a single space. Now, going to a space that has multiple exits, like, there's a cafe in one of them, right? And you can go up to the second story. You can then jump off the railing, go around to the left to the stairs. You can juke the bot. You can do multiple things. There's multiple exits that you can take. And you can easily trick the bots there, because if a bot starts coming up the stairs, you jump off the railing. If a bot tries to jump the railing, which I've never seen one jump that high, but they can. I have seen one jump that high, but I haven't seen one try to jump this specific spot like that. So if they try to jump that railing, then you just run to the stairs. You know what I mean? You can... Multiple exits in... trying to fake out the AI is the whole point of the game. So instead of setting up like 20 walls and barriers around yourself to try and protect yourself, move. Get away from them. Don't just sit up in one spot and expect them to leave once they get there. The bot will go for the nearest person. Well, it depends, really. It'll go towards the one that it believes it can reach the fastest. So if you are the only person in the room and the bot is there with you, it is going to go for you. It is not going to run outside and go and look for the other people unless they are right there at the door. You know what I mean? It's going to go for you if you are in the vicinity of it. So just keep that in mind, that holding up in a small space with a bunch of walls isn't going to last very long. Now, I'm not saying that the barriers are completely useless. They are very useful. There's a map, a pretty common map that people like to play a lot, called Four Corners, which is the roundabout section. I'll throw it up on screen right now. But if you use those barriers on that map, you can set them up down the middle lane, or down on the right side of the wall, whichever you choose, really. You can set up barriers along the path while you run around, because it's a square. You know what I mean? You're pretty much going to be running in a loop the entire time. If you set up a bunch of barriers, all in like where you know you are going to run to, then they'll get stuck on the barriers, and you'll be able to make an escape. You'll have a few extra time to run away. But do not try to hold up in just a singular corner with no escapes using the barriers. They're just going to break them. The barriers aren't infinite, they break. So, yeah, use the barriers to slow them down, but don't use them as a means to build a house in Minecraft. Okay. The best way to earn cash to get items is to revive players. However, that being said, you can just earn if you just survive. For the game to count you as surviving, you can't get downed not even once. You have to be in the game before the countdown ends, like the pre-game countdown. There's a 30-second pre-game countdown. You have to be in the game before that countdown finishes. You have to survive the full 3 minutes of the round without getting downed once. And if you're able to do that, you get more EXP no matter what. You always get more EXP if you survive. But it gives you a base of 200 cash, I'm pretty sure, if you just survive. However, every time you revive a player, you get 15 additional cash on top of that. So technically, the best way to get money is to not only survive, but also revive players while surviving, which is harder. You can either choose to be selfish and just survive, which I tend to do that sometimes because I want to get my survivals up, because I want to get to the leaderboard, but that's my own thing. Or you can get the items that help you revive people, because there's a doctor's stethoscope, I'm pretty sure you can get, that makes you be able to revive players 15% faster. And then there's another upgrade later on that you can get as you level up. That's the med kit that makes you revive players even faster. So those two items, if you want to be the ultimate medic and you just want to try to go in there and revive everybody, not really worry about getting downed and going down, just run in there and heal everybody up because you get 15 cash every time. You can do that. It's effective. Like, you can get a lot of cash that way. But again, the best way to get money is to just survive. So if you think that you are going to die, if you are going to revive someone, if you think you are going to get downed no matter what, don't try to save them. I know it's like a bad thing to say, but it's just a video game. Don't try to save them. If you want to earn cash, a lot of the in-game cash and a lot of EXP, don't try to save people unless you know that you can get them to somewhere safe, because you can carry people in the game, or you can revive them in corners or whatever. Don't try to revive everybody, because you won't be able to get to everybody. I've tried it. It doesn't work. Like, the AIs will get you before you can revive everybody. So, items. Very important. Items are a key point to the game. They will help you in multiple ways, and you can customize how they help you yourself. So you can choose your own play style to be able to outrun the bots better and just get better, get more EXP or money or whatever, blah, blah, blah. The main items that you want to get are in the character section. There is skins. Now that sounds weird because, like, why would you want a skin for your own avatar? It's they all give their own boost. For example, I use the Hermes boots because they're the highest level thing you can unlock, and it gives me a 60% increase on acceleration, which means when I hold down W, I reach my max speed 60% faster than I would if I was holding down W without those boots on. So getting the skins you can either choose to be the medic, or you can put the stilts on. The stilts are another good item. The stilts increase your maximum speed that you can reach by 6%. So you won't increase your speed you won't reach that speed any faster, but you will, in the end, while holding down W, you will be 6% faster than you would without that item. The next thing in the actual item item shop section, not the character section, because the only other thing in the character section is the emotes. Emotes don't really do anything; they're just emotes, you know. Um, in the item shop section, there is utility. Utility is very important. You can get the first two items are kind of, you don't really worry about buying them. The compass and the radio. The compass and the radio are just, nobody uses the radio. I haven't seen a single person use the radio. And the compass is basically pointless. It points north every single time so that if you're like bad with directions or whatever, you can go the right way. But you really don't need to know which direction to go. You just need to know which direction to get away from the bots. And you can see the bots or whatever. You know what I mean? So the compass isn't that useful. The radio isn't that useful. When you get into the useful stuff, the timer, the decoy, and the radio sensor thing, I forget what it's actually called. I think it's a transmitter or something. Either way, very important items. The timer tells you how much time is left in the round, so that when, because like I said, it's 3 minutes. It'll tell you if you have 2 minutes left, or 10 minutes, or sorry, if you have 2 minutes left, or 1 minute left, or the full 3 minutes. The round just started. Whatever, blah blah blah. And then the decoy puts down a fake version of yourself, and it'll run around, and the AIs will go for it. The AIs will chase it instead of you, but you have to know when to use it. You can't just be running in a straight direction and then put the decoy down, because it'll just instantly kill the decoy and then go for you right there. You know what I mean? You have to use it as like, you have to use it as a bait. You know what I mean? You have to know where the AI is and be like, okay, I'm gonna send my decoy in that direction. It'll hopefully grab onto the decoy, run towards the decoy, and then I'll go around the back of it to go revive somebody or get away from it, whatever. You know what I mean? So the decoy is useful. I tend not to use it. The one I use the most is the timer. I don't really need the radio transmitter or I think the radio transmitter, while it is good for certain maps, it's not that useful, because you can see the AIs most of the time. You know what I mean? Because most of the time people are going to pick normal maps. If they're picking the harder maps, your best bet there is to just go into a section with like multiple exits, like I said before, and just look. Because the radio transmitter isn't going to help if it starts beeping and then they're right there. You know what I mean? So I think that one's pretty useless. The decoy and the timer are my two favorite things to use. Timer is the main thing because I just want to know when I can get out of the match. You know what I mean? Okay, the next section, the items, that is very, very important. Usables. You have to get usables. Like, I don't think I could play this game if I didn't have the cola. like I could. I did it for a while before I actually got to the point where I could just start buying the colas in excess. But the cola, in my opinion, is the most usable item in the game. It temporarily, there's a little animation. You press, you hold down 2, you click on the soda. There's a little animation. You open the soda, you drink it, and then about a second later or so, your speed increases by like triple. It is insane, but it only lasts about 5 seconds, so it's not insanely overpowered. Like, you can't just drink a cola and then be 3 times speed forever. You know what I mean? It's temporary. However, in my opinion, it's the most useful because, one, if you know an AI is behind you or coming directly at your face or whatever, you can just pop one of the colas and boom, you're 3 times speed. You will outrun them for sure as long as you are holding down W and spamming spacebar and you drink the cola. Cola is also very useful for players that are downed because you can preemptively drink a cola and then you can run over and pick someone up mid-run. You press Q to pick people up, and you can pick them up mid-run, and then you can sprint away with them, still having that 3 times speed, because you can't jump while you're carrying somebody. But you can sprint away at that 3 times speed and just done. You know what I mean? They will not catch you, unless there's 2 of them, and they're like, unless you keep running into walls, or there's 2 of them, or whatever. You know. Okay. So next thing is now that you have your usables and your items and everything, you're pretty much set. There's just a few more things like eye things that you can do to help better your gameplay. One thing is the lights. If you are on a map like IKEA or the back rooms, I think also does it. Any map that has lots of lights on it, like ceiling lights or wall lights or anything, the when the AIs get close to your location, all of the lights flicker around them. They have like a decent radius. Like it's pretty close, but it's not close enough to where you're going to die if you see it. You know what I mean? You can usually see the lights flickering from pretty far away. But that'll tell you that there is an AI there. The lights don't flicker naturally. There might be one that flickers naturally or something that I haven't seen yet. But the lights don't flicker naturally. They only flicker when an AI is within the vicinity of that light. So if you see a light flickering or all the lights around you are flickering, run because it is on top of you. You are going to die if you do not move because all of the lights are flickering around you. You know what I mean? Now there are maps that have 2 floors, so it could be below you, and that's why the lights are flickering. Best way is to just look and see if you see one, and then you're like, oh fuck, there it is, run. You know what I mean? But other than that, the hotkeys that you can use, I don't use crouch very often. There's almost no point to crouch, other than the fact that you can break doors. If you are sprinting and then you press control, you can do a slide. If you run into a door while sliding, the door will shatter. It'll snap off. So you don't have to wait the time to open the door. You can just break the door by running into it and crouching at the same time. You'll do a slide and you'll slam into the door and the door will break. That is useful for getting away on maps like the research facility, because there are a lot of doors on that map, and the best way to open those doors while you're running away from them, instead of waiting the time and pressing E to open them, whatever, blah blah blah, just press control, slam right through them. There you go. You can pretty much just run away at that point. The other keybind, the flashlight, is F. That's pretty obvious. G is your emotes. Don't really need them unless you're just messing around with somebody. R is important because you can use R to it's not very useful, because if you are running and you are jumping at the same time, you can't use R. It doesn't let you. But if you are just holding down W and running in a straight line, if you hold down R, the game will turn your head around for you while keeping you moving in the same direction that you're moving. So you can look behind you, but it's only useful if you aren't holding an item, because you can't use it if you're holding an item. It's only useful if you aren't holding an item and you aren't jumping. Like, so if you're carrying somebody, I still don't think it works, because carrying a player, I think, counts as an item being held. But anyways, you can use that if you want to. I tend not to. I just stop I just run a lot, and then I stop and turn around and get my surroundings down, and then I run again. You know? But other than that, your other keybind is Q to pick people up, and you hold E to revive people. It tells you those two right on your screen when you're on top of somebody. So yeah, you're pretty much set if you've got that all down. If you have your items set, you worked on your movement so that you're pressing space while moving. Try to work on, like I said, moving your camera smoothly, because if you move your camera smoothly, you can build up a lot of speed. Like on the desert map, I really like to ramp off of the houses and stuff, because it's really easy if you use the smooth camera movement and you jump off the house, you can pretty much leap over the top of any AIs in the area and just keep running. It's pretty easy. Other than that, just work on the movement. Once you have your items and your usables all set up, use them as you see fit to take down AIs and stuff, and yeah, you're pretty much good at that point. If you're still dying a lot, either stop trying to help people or try to buy one of the beacons, or not the beacons, the radio sensors, because it's still useful. You can tell where the AIs are, so you can just run away from them. Again, the whole point of the game is to just run away from the AI. So, yeah, other than that, you should be pretty much set to win the game at this point. Just absolutely crush it. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later.